Ink ribbon.
Since I am technically a Sims channel, I decided to mix it up a bit and cover one of my favorite games of the 2000s. While consoles did get their first Sims game, it wasn't until Bustin' Out that the game really took on a unique identity of its own, while still retaining that delicious Sims flavor. From Ghost Maids to N-gage, this is my list of the top 10 secrets and Easter eggs for The Sims Bustin' Out.
Number 10.
Unlockables. First of all, you definitely want to say hello to every NPC in the game because upon meeting a new Sim, you'll immediately unlock a new appearance item that is either clothing, a head accessory, or a hairstyle. Because I know you guys love instant gratification, I went through the trouble of finding every unlockable fashion item, which I will display here if you want to pause. The next big unlock is free play mode, which plays just like classic Sims games. Two important things to know about this mode are that you can only marry Sims in free play neighborhoods, so be sure to make an ideal spouse for your story mode Sim. Also, this is the only mode where you can make child Sims in Create a Sim. The only way to have kids at all in the main game is to, well, you know. Bustin' Out has 7 story mode endings that accumulate into the true ending. Each ending is achieved once you reach level 10 in your current career, and the cutscene will be directly related to that career. And I didn't know where else to mention this, but I just wanted to mention there's a secret unlockable song for the synthesizer called the Pixel Booty Song. That, well, when you play it, it will make all Sims on the current lot naked.
Number 9.
Mom's House. I just wanted to mention Mom's House as a level in this game because it has some secret features that not a lot of other lots have. First, let's start with Mom herself. It's worth mentioning that she has a maximum cooking skill and her meals really go a long way for satisfying hunger, so it's best to let her cook, which she will do once you've cooked for yourself at least once. Speaking of cooking skill, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Some of you know how much I love to cook, but for a lot of people, cooking is daunting. If you are one of those people who often says, "Oh no, I can't cook to save my life," well then HelloFresh is a perfect service for you, even if you do it just to get started. Kind of like cooking, but with training wheels. And if you're someone who wishes you could cook more but just can't find the time, HelloFresh offers everything you need sent right to your door in pre-measured amounts so you always have exactly what you need. And all you need to do is follow the cards provided with each recipe, which are simple steps and are so easy that anyone can cook. Even you. I'm a pescatarian and I was happy to find a variety of options on their menu from vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, and of course meat for the carnivores out there. And their menu is always changing, so there's always new and exciting things to put on your table. And some of you know how much I care about the environment, so I was very pleased to see that HelloFresh cuts down on food waste by 23% when compared to shopping at the grocery store. For the meals I ordered, I made shrimp tortellini bake and made marinara sauce from scratch, which I had never done before, and it was crispy and delicious. Then I made some shrimp tacos with a crema sauce and pico de gallo, and they were packed with flavor and so good. And lastly was the mushroom and mozzarella hoagies with Dijon mayo and potato wedges, and I wish I could reach through the screen and hand you a plate because cooking is my love language and I want you to try it. But the good news is you can try it for yourself by using the code on your screen right now. You can save 65% and get free shipping on your first order. Check out the link in the description for more, and thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Now moving on to the actual lot itself, this is a magical lot that has a lot of hidden effects going on that can give your sim a much needed break. While on this lot, some of your needs will not deplete past the halfway point, including hygiene, comfort, social, and energy. Also at Mom's house, you don't have to pay any bills, but you also can't go to work because no buses stop at her house. The wonderful thing about Mom's house is that you can miss work all you want and it won't affect your career status at all. On top of this, relationships will not decay while you're on this lot, so it's great for building up relationships, which can honestly be very difficult to manage in the later stages. And lastly, don't worry about money while you're living here, because if your account drops below 100 simoleons, eventually the phone will ring and one way or another your sim will be awarded some money.
Number 8.
Objects and exploits. Obviously, a big part of The Sims is the objects they interact with, and Bustin' Out has a lot of unique, quirky items that I thought were worth mentioning for various reasons. First, I'm not sure if this is an Easter egg or a remake or whatever you want to call it, but a lot of the objects are actually from the original release of The Sims, but this time fully modeled out in 3D, which is kind of cool. One add-on you can buy for the pool is a high diving board, which allows athletic Sims to show off and non-athletic Sims to fail spectacularly. The main reason I wanted to show this is because I think it's the first object in The Sims where you can actually have a Sim intentionally kill themselves. This is because if you tell them to dive, they will dive, regardless of whether or not there is a pool involved. Every time they dive into the ground, they lose a large chunk of their comfort meter. If that meter hits 0, they are dead and it's game over. The Hot Spring Hot Tub, which is unlocked at Pixel Acres, occasionally will have a geyser eruption and launch your Sims well into the air. Aside from hurting their comfort and energy a little bit, this doesn't harm Sims and is just for fun. One of the absolute best items in the game is the Aeromaster Whifferpuff Gold, unlocked at Tone's Gym, which rapidly raises stats for all Sims nearby when activated, based on which option you select. Peppermint and Juniper will raise comfort, Lavender and Marjoram will raise fun, Juniper and Rosemary will raise energy, and Rosemary and Peppermint will cause an increase in positive responses to all your social interactions. The Slush Rush portable bar unlocked at Mimi's place will raise your cooking skill faster than the bookshelf. On top of this, the drinks made on it will boost hunger, energy, and comfort. The Artist's Block, unlocked at Studio 8, is a great investment if your Sim is creative. Just like the paintings your Sims sell, they can sell completed sculptures, but you can also use them for decoration to enhance rooms. Next, unlocked at the Octagon, is the Gyrosport Abdominator, and it's the fastest way to build body skill, although it's also one of the biggest objects in the game. There is speculation that this is a glitch and it's not even in the strategy guide, but the Tesla coil, which is unlocked in the Shiny Things lab, produces balls of energy that float around for a while. However, if you go into buy mode, you can actually sell them for 50 simoleons each for some reason. Also not mentioned in the strategy guide is the telescope, which can very rarely result in your Sims being abducted by aliens. They will be gone for about 3 days and return with randomized personality traits. And lastly is my favorite item in the game, the Bug Light. It's meant to kill bugs, but for some reason Sims just can't help themselves and almost always watch the light and eventually touch it, which results in this happening. Now the reason this is great, aside from it just being funny, is it gives a huge boost to your Sim's energy meter and is actually the fastest way to fill their energy bar. However, the price for this is their comfort will basically drop to 0, but a comfy couch or a nice dip in the hot tub can restore it pretty quickly, so this item is a must-have if you're trying to keep your Sim awake and productive. Or if you just want to watch Sims electrocute themselves repeatedly. It's great at parties.
Number 7.
Cheat Gnome. If you want things to go faster, or an easier gameplay experience, or if you're just lazy, then the good news is this game has several cheat codes. But in order to activate them, you have to start with the master cheat in the form of a cheat gnome. All of these are done by pausing the game and entering the cheats. Ah, the good old days of cheat codes. Fill all motives, give money, unlock all locations, unlock all clothing items, unlock all objects, and unlock all social interactions. Once the cheat gnome code is entered, he will appear in front of your current household for the remainder of your play session. Aside from the unlocks, interacting with the gnome will allow you to activate cheats to keep your Sims wealthy and happy as long as you need. And unlocks will be available if you go back into buy mode or create a Sim after reloading your game.
Number 6.
Create a sim. As with most Sims games, creating your Sims includes things like customizing their appearance and giving them personality traits, but the game doesn't tell you a few things. Along with your Sims' looks are their personality, which actually affect way more than you'd think. Along with typical personality behaviors, they can also help with different gameplay elements like skill building. Here are the following things affected by each trait. Neat Sims will pretty much do nothing but clean and don't gain any other benefits. Messy Sims do leave huge messes, but they also don't gain anything else from it, and it's best to have a very messy Sim and just hire a maid. Shy Sims tend to be very difficult gameplay-wise. They have a hard time interacting, they're more prone to negative responses, and building charisma takes a lot longer. Though it is worth mentioning their social need decays a lot slower. Outgoing Sims are superstars, and where your trait points should always go. They gain much more fun out of certain activities like the hot tub or watching romance TV. They will also always get into a hot tub naked. Similarly, they are not bothered if another Sim walks in on them while they're using the toilet, which can be more valuable than you think. It's also worth mentioning that they are able to gain charisma skill from mirrors much faster than shy Sims, but all of this comes at the cost of constantly needing social interaction to stay happy. Active Sims will autonomously do physical activities that are fun, such as playing basketball, and get extra fun points from watching the Action Channel. Active Sims also have a slower comfort decay, as well as being able to gain skill points faster from the pool and exercise machine. Lazy Sims get a lot of enjoyment out of sedentary activities like watching TV, taking naps, and will gravitate towards these if left alone. It also takes them much longer to get out of bed, sometimes just continuing to sleep well after their sleep meter is full, which can cause them to even miss work. On top of this, they hate to stand, so their comfort meter will decay faster than active Sims. Playful Sims are all about fun. They thrive on it and constantly want to do fun activities of any kind, and they get a bonus from watching cartoons. They also get a boost to creativity skill when they're using the piano or the easel. Their fun meter will decay faster than serious Sims, but they're great at parties and tend to have good social interactions. Serious Sims are actually fun as well, but in a different way. They prefer more toned-down fun activities like reading books or playing chess. They have a slower need decay but tend to have a hard time socializing because they do not enjoy any sort of jokes or teasing. It's best to have at least 5 points of playfulness. Lastly is the nice versus grouchy traits. Hands down, nice is the way to go. A nice Sim is the key to building friends and relationships. Since career advancement requires you to make friends, this is a major bonus, especially if your Sim has a combination of max outgoing and nice traits. They can actually hit 100 friendship points in a single meeting with a Sim. Grouchy Sims, however, have the complete opposite problem. Constantly having disagreements, negative interactions, and don't like people or pleasantries, which makes it very difficult to fulfill their career goals and keep them happy. Literally, the only benefits to a grouchy Sim is that they get a fun bonus from the horror channel and an increased mechanical skill from the bookshelf. So never make a grouchy Sim and you'll be okay. And it's worth mentioning that two grouchy Sims tend to get along and enjoy being mean to each other.
Number 5.
Characters and lore. I don't think the lore in this game is canon, though there are characters from the mainline series, but either way, there is a bit of story and info I wanted to go over. I'm looking at you, Plumbella. First, there are a total of 22 main characters, and none of them are available for marriage. The only Sims you can marry are the ones that live in the free lots in free play mode, consisting of the all-female Fruity family or the all-male 2D family, as well as one more empty household so you can make your custom romantic matches for your Sims. Here's a fun one for you. If you aren't happy with your regular old maid, you can instead get a ghost maid. The maid can die by the monster plant, but she will continue to clean and do her job, this time as a ghost. This also makes her faster at cleaning because now she can walk through walls. Mom is actually the ex-wife of Malcolm Landgrab, who is the main villain of this game, which makes him your stepdad. On top of this, Mimi and Dudley are your step-siblings. And I'm not sure if this was an oversight by the developers or not, but you can have romantic interactions with them, so
What are you doing, step bro?
Speaking of Malcolm, it's actually possible to befriend him even though he's the villain to pretty much everyone in the town. There are only 4 ways that your Sims can die in Bustin' Out. Of course, there's starving, classic. Fire, of course. The diving board, as I mentioned earlier. And being eaten by the mutant plant. And something that totally surprised me, I found out that your Sims cannot die via electrocution or drowning in Bustin' Out. This may be the only Sims game where that's the case. And believe me, I tried.
Number 4.
Exclusive features. I just quickly wanted to mention a few exclusives to each console, as well as exclusives to this version of The Sims. You can play this game with 2 players, but to do it you have to have a memory card inserted at all times if you're playing on a PS2 or GameCube. Even removing it for just a second will stop the game until it's reinserted. Free play mode actually has 5 exclusive careers that are not available in story mode, which are the Artist, Computer Geek, Rockstar, Slacker, and Swindler. The GameCube has the ability to connect to the GBA version of this game and unlocks a unique arcade cabinet that allows them to play some mini games, and you can actually transfer your console sim into the GBA version, though I wasn't able to do that for this video, so use your imagination.
Number 3.
Online mode. Joining games that were ahead of their time with online play for the PS2 is Bustin' Out. The online game consisted of a mode called Online Weekend, which is almost exactly like 2-player mode, but obviously online, where you can work together in the story mode. It's worth mentioning that buy and build mode were disabled and you can't leave the lot, so you must have everything you need on the lot already. Online mode only lasted from 2004 to 2008 and was shut down due to inactivity. And if you're really hardcore about this, a user by the name of Rippery created something called FreeSo and brought it back if you want to try it, but it does seem a little complicated to set up.
Number 2.
Game Boy Advance version. During this era in gaming, it was common to get a Game Boy Advance version of console games, and Bustin' Out is no exception. And just like other games that have these ports, the GBA version is completely different from the console version in almost every way, so I wanted to add an entry just for it in this video. Now, some stuff worth mentioning that may not be common knowledge. Unlike the console version, having a sim with balanced traits is actually best, because some traits clash and can actually make it very difficult to converse with certain sims. This time you directly control a sim and run around the town like a regular adventure game instead of just telling them what to do. You can get around on foot or via scooter, which you can repaint, or fast travel via the steam tunnels once they're unlocked. It's also worth mentioning that while riding the scooter, all your needs stop decaying and your fun increases, which is extremely useful. A unique aspect of this game are the consequences, namely going to jail. You can end up getting arrested for public urination or for not paying bills in a timely manner. Once in prison, you either pay a fine or serve your sentence. Along with this are also visits to the hospital if you pass out. NPCs are the main focus of this game, but sometimes they can be very hard to find as they move around the town constantly. Best way to find them is to simply call them on the phone and they will tell you where they are, or if they're on the move, there will be no answer. Also unique to this game is the ability to actually have conversations with Sims that are understandable as opposed to regular Simlish. Make fun of someone and they will probably get mad, but compliment them and they can really take a liking to you. There's also a ton of minigames that serve as your Sim's job and the primary way for your Sim to make money. You can level up in each individual job to earn more money as well. Different from traditional Sims games is the way you buy things. For your home, there is no build mode. Instead, having the player simply move to a new place and each one gets better as you progress through the game. For buying objects, you have to check into one of 3 stores and see what's available for that day, with some items being much more rare than others. And lastly is the fact that your sim can have pets. Now it's very simplified. You can interact with the pet and they will occasionally pee on the floor, but other than that, that's it. You don't need to feed them or anything. There are also some exotic rare pets such as a llama and an iguana, but I wasn't able to afford them while I was playing. And thanks to my buddy, I was also able to see what the N-gage version had that was unique from the GBA port. Hi Dale. The N-gage version is essentially the exact same game with only 4 differences. There was an added darts minigame. Your sim has a Nokia 5110 phone in their inventory, enabling them to call a sim from anywhere. Payphones now cost 10 simoleons instead of 1, and there are SIM cards scattered around that you can collect to unlock minigames. Other than that, it's the same game as the GBA version. And one more quick note about the Game Boy Advance is that I never really played this game before, but I wanted to give it a chance for this video, and much to my surprise, I really liked it and I got really into it. Not to sound like a geriatric millennial, but it reminded me of the games that I used to play on the computers in school, and it gave me this like weird feeling of nostalgia that I can't really explain. So if you're a fan of old PC games or even Flash game websites, try this one out and I think you'll really enjoy it. Just don't expect it to be like the console version, because in case you couldn't tell from the footage, it's not.
Number 1.
Development. There isn't too much to say about this game without mentioning its predecessor, simply titled The Sims, which was the first console port for this series. Bustin' Out served as both a spin-off and a sequel, adding more content and features from the first game. The game doesn't have much cut content since it had a shockingly short development time of only 6 months. First announced at E3 2003, Bustin' Out continued its quick development, sending videos to various gaming sites showing its progress and features. As the game was gearing up for release, the very early teaser trailers released showed that quite a few changes were made towards the end of development. For starters, Create a Sim looked different, more closely resembling the Create a Sim in the PC version, and the sound effects and various small details and objects in UI were slightly different. It also shows multiple Sims riding in a vehicle together, just like in the intro video, but in the final version, your Sim is the only one able to drive and they drive alone. The plumb bob is shown to turn different colors, implying that it would change based on your Sim's mood, just like the PC version. Other than that, development went smoothly and Bustin' Out released to pretty favorable reviews and was a really fun experience for gamers in the mid-2000s. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it because I was very excited to cover this game since it's personally one of my favorite PS2 games and I played it so much as a teenager. But sometimes I wonder if I'm the only one. Did any of you play Bustin' Out? And if you did, what are some of your fond memories of it? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please tell your sim to hit that like button. I will go ahead and end this here, but remember to drink water and have a great day. I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon.